mission is to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. Technology can shape growth, help us be more agile, we can use technology to change, disrupt the landscape of the industries that we participate in. Building technology so that others can build technology and make things happen. Our success is not dependent on our products. It's dependent on the success that our customers, our partners have with our products. It's really not about our ambitions, but it's the application of our ambitions so that we can deliver digital transformation. I want you to envision what difference can you make to shape the world.
Good afternoon, partners. This is Sherman Crancer, Senior Partner Development Manager for Microsoft, and thanks so much for coming to the show today. And welcome to the panel, Strategies from the Titans of Sales and Industry. I love saying that, man. The Titans, that's awesome. Anyways, we've got a wonderful show for us today. We've got some great guests in studio, and we are really looking forward to covering some great items. One, we're going to do the thought of the week. Then we're going to get into growth, simplify, optimize, repeat. We have a LinkedIn portion of here. We have partner back office, and then we have the contact information that we are going to talk to everybody about. So just doing the quick introductions here. We've got two different partners that are in here, partner companies, but we have they're in studio, and I'm going to go ahead and introduce them, and then they can just smile when the camera gets to them for sake of streamlining this through. So we have Jake Solis from 1+1 Technology and Joe Tinker. They're great partners. They are our fastest growing partner in the Crancer group at 758% growth. Just wonderful, and I think that today we're going to have a good chance to kind of talk to you about that growth stuff. And then we also have Brendan Cosgrove from Team Logic. He's in the house. They're actually here in Mission Viejo in Southern California, and I would say that I think they're one of the favorite partners to go to just to kind of get more ideas about how to operationalize and understanding profit margins, understanding how to build I think they're really the right type of business. We recently had a conversation. We will go into it in just a little bit, but talking about profitability and thinking about how to create bigger margins so we're not always working on those licensing things, where we're not losing just licensing revenue and looking at it that way. We have Terry and Thomas, TNT Boom Shakalaka. They're on the on IM, so you can always just talk to them. Send out a quick IM. They'll be able to do it. We have a great video, and then we also have Tim Tetrick, who may be on here in a little bit. I don't know if he's on right now. Oh yeah, he is. He is on. It's awesome. He'll be able to answer questions, and we are going to roll in just a little bit tape on that he did on demos. Really fantastic stuff. And then, as always, we have Jason Hinton. He's my co-host for Microsoft, and he's out of Chicago. Currently, we do have some technical difficulties. We have a bad power cord. Can you imagine that? A power cord. You got a $250,000 machine, and the power cord goes out. It's like, what? I can't remember when a power cord went out, right? I mean, it's really interesting, right? Because I remember when I've had power cords that have bent so much, right? And you're like, that's fraying, right? That's gonna fray. That's not good, right? And then, blammo, you don't get any power. But like, this is a static machine. But, Betsy here, we love our TriCaster. She's a little temperamental sometimes, but that's okay. That's okay. We right now, hey Betsy, keep it up. Good work. All right, we'll move on from there. So I think we wanted to just kind of get into the thought of the week. And I want to do a bit of an exercise and talk about branding. Okay, when you go to the Point Drive after this call today, I have a video that I produced, about 15-minute video, and it's basically a screen recording of how to build a brand on LinkedIn. And it basically just literally starts from, okay, your profile, right? And then it goes into, how to post stuff and how to share stuff. So the thought of the week really revolves around branding and building your brand. And it's about, how to actually do that. And I think that if we do it collectively, we might be able to do some really cool things. So we're going to do a small exercise later. But for example, we talk a lot about putting yourself out there, right? We talk a lot about creating content that is relevant, that people want to see, right? And also, social media and building a brand is not something that you do on a one-time basis or even a 5-time basis or 6-time. It is something that you're constantly doing on a day-to-day basis. One of the things that I do is I like to post something on LinkedIn at least once a week. I know that we post, some things come up like the show when it automatically gets up to YouTube, it gets linked. But I have the special thing. So what I wanted to share was I posted a link called Marketing is the New Sales. And it's really about, hey, how do we build packages? How do we do that? A lot of us liked it. A lot of people here liked it and shared it. And I ended up in that 1 week, ended up getting 3,800 views.
Wow.
That's pretty good. Okay.
That's really good.
What was really telling about this, not just the views, because I normally average around 600 on something that I do, right? What was telling was when you look at the analytics, you're going to see, first sphere of influence and second sphere of influence, right? Well, who shared it? Mm-hmm. Okay, that's the big one. Now that's impact, right? That's how you build your brand. And if you saw the actual metrics on my LinkedIn, you'll see that the first is very small, but the second, the second sphere of influence was like 5 times the size. Mm-hmm. That means people were sharing it. Right. It meant something. It resonated. And you're not always going to resonate with all the things that you do. You're just not going to. There's ways, tricks of the trade, copyright type of stuff to kind of get more people to like it. But building a brand takes time. You're going to do a lot of misses. There's going to be a lot of things that you sent out. You're like, this is the best thing ever, and I tell you, everyone's going to share this. I'm going to be a superstar. I'm not going to be famous anymore. I'm going to be infamous. I'm going to be so famous that I'm infamous, right? And then you get like 2 views, right? And you're like, son of a gun. That doesn't work. I mean, I remember my first MCC event. I did it here at the Irvine studio, right? And I had like 3 people show up. Nice. Okay, I sent out 15,000 emails, right? And I catered the darn thing. I catered it for 100 people. I had food up the wazoo, right? I had drinks, cookies. And 3 people showed up, right? And I could have gotten discouraged, right? But it was like, something? No, I'm not going to get discouraged. I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to figure out how to do it. And then everyone knows the story of figuring out how to get people to come. But the same thing comes back down to building your brand. It's not something that you can do, on a one-time basis, or even don't get discouraged. It's something that you just got to keep putting out there. Somebody mentioned to me, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be done, right? And another reference to that is if you ever look up some of my original content that I created with like even the SBA, or I mean there's some really bad ones. Holy Moses. Yeah. So I just didn't know, but I just kept pushing. And now we were sitting here in front of the beach. We have a new location, by the way. We're live from San Onofre Beach right now, as you can see in the background. Right after this, we're all going surfing.
Do you need more suntan lotion?
I do. You need it, man. No, you need it.
I need it.
Holy Moses. Wow, man, you need it. You don't.
No, I'm
You're
good.
You're
I just
good.
turned shades of pink anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. So back to the thought of the week. It's persistence. It's understanding how to do it, and you keep doing it. Don't be afraid, even though it is. It was difficult, in the very beginning. I remember looking at these cameras and being like, oh my gosh, it's like, it's dead. It's dead to me. Like you look at it, right? And it's just, it is no response. Yeah. What are people thinking or looking at or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And now, it's no big deal. It's part of it. Just, hey, we're having a conversation.
Well, it's about momentum, I mean, you can't expect to build a brand without keeping that momentum going. And like you said, if you let perfection be the goal, you're going to lose all that momentum that you might have built with a great campaign, and you've got all the material and the content follow-up and all that other stuff. But if you don't keep going, even if it's just small touch points, you're going to lose the momentum, and then really all that initial hard work just fizzles out, and it's depressing at that point.
It is,
Yeah.
and it's discouraging, depressing.
Right.
My gosh, it really is. So I'm going to leave you with this. We'll talk about LinkedIn later today. I want you to start posting, but we're going to do the exercise really is we're going to post something, and I want everybody to get on it and then reshare it. Okay?
Okay.
After that, next week, okay, we're going to pick 4 or 5 people, and we're going to have those 4 or 5 people post, and then us on the call, we're going to reshare their post. And I know to a degree it's co-opetition here. We do
Right.
compete a little bit,
Yeah.
okay? However, you know something, there's a lot of business out there, okay? Not every business, you can't do everything to everyone.
Right.
And you need to understand what type of clients that you go after and that make you profitable, right? So let's try to help each other out, because I think we could really do something awesome. I mean, how do we get 10,000 views, right? How do we get 20,000 views? And maybe we take turns doing this every week, and everyone gets 20,000 views and builds a brand.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of my thinking on that. Anyways,
Yeah.
I'm going to leave you with this. Dreamers are the ones who talk about what they're going to do, and they constantly do it. But the leaders are the ones that do what they talk about. So ask yourself the question today, going into the weekend: are you just a dreamer, or are you a leader? And if you're a leader, we want to be with you. All right, sounds great. Let's roll into this. We're gonna change this up just a little bit. I want to roll the Tim Tetrick video coming up here. I'll describe it. He's talking about demos and how to create these demo environments and utilize them. And it's a wonderful, wonderful video. And I think right away, let's go ahead and give you something right now to chew on and take a look at that. All right, let's roll tape.
Hello, partners. Tim Tetrick, Partner Technology Strategist here. And today I want to introduce you to, or maybe reintroduce you to, an amazing resource that you have access to as a Microsoft partner. It's called demos.microsoft.com. Really contains some great capabilities that you can leverage that will help you enable the ability to demonstrate a number of different Microsoft products and services to your customers and prospects. In addition, it can also be used to, as a great learning resource internally for helping you and your teams get up to speed on new Microsoft products and technology. So you're going to get there by going to demos.microsoft.com, and you're going to choose the Microsoft Partner login right here. And you're going to want to log in with the credentials that are associated with your MPN account. So once you're logged in here, you see a number of resources on the start page here, including some getting started resources, some getting started guidance, frequently asked questions, things like that. We're going to go straight into environments. So environments is where I'm going to provision those demo tenants that I'm going to leverage. So you can see here I already have a Microsoft 365 Business tenant that's been provisioned here. I get information around the username and password on how to access that. And I'm going to go here and say create a new tenant. So you can see as partners I can create up to 6 demo tenants that last 90 days each. And here's the tenants that I have access to. Probably the most popular ones are going to be the Microsoft 365 Enterprise demo tenant and the Microsoft 365 Business demo tenant. But you can see here there's some other tenants to leverage as well. So for example, there's this vertically focused Microsoft Education demo. There's Dynamics 365 for sales and customer service. There's also empty demo tenants as well if you don't want all that demo content pre-provisioned in there as well. So once I've provisioned those demo tenants, then I'm going to go up here under materials, and here's where I'm going to get to all this great demo script, content, demo videos, demo click-throughs, some great information to leverage here. So you can see 138 materials here. Everything from, you see here, here's kind of my Microsoft 365 Enterprise Hero demo that walks you through the entire kind of M365 Enterprise Story. I have the actual demo guide with step-by-step how to demo and tell the Microsoft 365 story. But there's also a demo video I can watch here as well. And so just, spend some time going through here, some great resources to leverage again across all sorts of different products and technology. So you can see here the new compliance manager that was announced a while back here. I have a demo guide around that. I have a video I can watch, some other demo assets. As we keep scrolling down here, information protection. So this great capability is part of enterprise mobility and security and Microsoft 365. You see I get a demo guide. I get these great PowerPoint click-through demos. So maybe I don't want to show a live demo. Maybe I just want to show a demo through with a PowerPoint click-through. Very easy way to show demos in an offline experience. Identity and access management, the great capabilities around Azure Active Directory and Azure Active Directory Premium, and more, right? Office 365 DLP, Visio, etc. So I can, just manually kind of browse for these. I can also do searching. So maybe I want to look for a Teams video. I can put in Teams. I can see here's the Microsoft Teams Hero demo. Again, a demo guide, a click-through PowerPoint, and then also a video demo as well to leverage. So great resources here. Once I find those, by the way, I can go ahead and say add those to a collection and create collections of different materials and demo resources. So check it out. Again, a great resource not only for doing great demonstrations for your customers and prospects, but again, also as this great learning opportunity internally for helping your teams get familiar with new technologies, with new tools, with new products from Microsoft. All right, thanks for watching and listening, and appreciate your time, and have a great day. Bye-bye.
All right, very good, very good. Okay, so our first section here is really growth, and let me go ahead and remove some of these questions. I think the very first one that we have here, the interactive scenario here is and I'm going to throw this out to Jake actually, if you don't mind. We'll start there and we'll go over here. Provide us your opinion on growth and how you approach it, and if anyone here disagrees with his opinion. I want you to let us know via the chat, okay? Let me know if you disagree. So Jake, help us understand your approach to that.
Great, yeah, we've been really focusing growth at 1+1 technology. For us, we have to narrow our focus on what we're trying to deliver. So you can't grow in every direction, so you have to have a clear, defined focus, and you have to be ready because growth does cost money.
Okay. Brendan, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the pedal to the metal from the sales department, right? That's like the common press, and then the technicians, they're saying, well, wait a second, how are we going to deliver all? You just sold us out for 3 months. What are we going to do? And I think there's that balance, right? So, and it actually gets back to some of that branding too, which is your sales and marketing and that the growth that you're actually seeing being supported by the business. Because if it's not, then all that sales and marketing to build your brand and do all that is going to be handicapped by the fact that you can't deliver it and you can't make good on those promises. And I know that for us, growth has been one of those, we try and measure it well so we know how fast we're growing, and it's not just a wing and a prayer and hoping we can keep up. And so I'm constantly looking at that data to say, when's the next hire, or what's the next expansion, or what customers when are they going to start? Because obviously everybody wants everything now, and that's one of the tricks. But growth is one of those enemies to the technician, and like the chalice that the salesperson wants, because that's where they're making their living.
So okay, that's very interesting that you just said that, because what we find, or what I find a lot, is leadership is all about growth, but you find out, which fascinates me, the engineers scare leadership. They're like, no. We have a partner right now that I'm talking to. You'll know who I'm talking about if you're on the call, but I'm not going to name your name. okay, is we've been talking about Azure a lot, right? But the response typically is, you know, my lead director of a CTO will literally kill me if I add another workload. We have so much that's going on. Okay, so with that being said, let's go back, Jake. Let's dig in a little bit deeper here.
Yep.
How are you approaching growth, knowing that at 700% growth, you've got to be breaking things. You've got to have engineering staff that today they might be like throwing the ninja knives at your face because they know that you're not there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
actually, I want to get Joey involved in this one because he leads our technical staff.
So I think you hit the nail right on the head when it comes down to breaking things. Focusing on building processes is absolutely paramount. And I like to take a 3-step approach. You have to have at least a manual process before you can streamline it, which is the second part. And then the final piece is everybody should reach for is automation. So before you can automate, you can't just automate right out of the gate. You need to create manual processes that are meaningful, that reach the customer's need. I think it's also a perceived need too. You have to make sure that you're reaching their perceived need because it might be different than what you were initially striving to automate in the first place. So as things break, you have to listen to the clients and see exactly what they need as they continue to just pour in.
I think also you can't be fearful of growth, and sometimes you got to get out there and get the sales first and figure out the process later. I'm not saying open the floodgates, but you got to get some sales going, see what's working, make some fine tuning, and then you put the pedal to the metal.
Yeah, it's interesting that you brought up automation too, because automation is one of those things where, if you've done anything 2 or 3 times and you don't have any reason to believe you're not going to keep doing it, automate it. I've talked to some other partners who've had the problem of they automated too much too soon, where they just said, oh, well, that's something we're going to have to do over and over again. Let's automate. And then they got into a kind of a pickle where things were breaking and they couldn't figure out what, because they hadn't taken the time to define the process and really make that growth of the technical service side of things sustainable and supportable. And I think it's an interesting part of growth, which I know for us, we're always having that conversation about automation. Right. What can we do? What can we do more with systems? But again, there's that measured approach. So we're trying to grow our capacity through automation. So
right.
It's an interesting
I think also the final thing with that is quality control. And the one way that you can get quality control is by having it be a repeatable process. Processes that follows through like with checklists, and it really helps. Now there's some things you just can't create a checklist for. You can't create a checklist for every single thing out there. That's why you need smart people that are flexible, able to work. But definitely you can set up checklists to make sure that certain pieces are hit every single time. Emails are fired out at certain places and people are reached out to, and I think that right there is how you can set yourself up for success.
So let's extrapolate on one thing. So Brendan, let me ask you this. How are you managing the engineering folks at your organization so that they're not constantly pushing back? There's more workloads. Imagine if you're an engineer and you're like, oh my gosh, we finally got it settled, right? And then leadership's like, hey, by the way, we got 3 more new workloads. But how do you manage that? How do you have weekly meetings? Do you do you buy them lunch? Do you do you bring in people to wash their car? What are you doing that is helping them buy into the fact that you need to change?
Yeah, it's a great question, because one of the things we do is we don't meet weekly. I found weekly meetings, they end up being a burden for the technical staff. One, it distracts them too much because it's such a shift in their work cycle, right? They're used to churning through projects or tickets or whatever that their work cycle might be. And meetings disrupt that in a significant way that kind of destroy the rest of the day. But we do meet every other week. We bring in lunch, so we feed them. Full stomachs make happy meeting goers, is our experience. And then part of our weekly meetings is an automation review. What can we do? What can we do better? And then the other part, we always look at certain metrics, right? And one of those is ticket counts. One of those is response times, SLAs. It's funny because the first time my service manager, he came in and said, oh, new record for number of tickets. I said, well, is that a good thing or a bad thing? we've got more customers than ever, so I'd expect more tickets. And the look on the engineer's face is like, more tickets than ever. But the job of leadership, right, is to remind them, that's a great thing, guys.
Yeah, it's a good problem.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, if it's more tickets than ever unanswered or failing an SLA or something like that's a whole other problem. But more tickets than ever closed in a month, great. I love it. That's perfect.
Yeah.
That means the business is growing and sales and operations are lining up.
And I think you mentioned, what do the engineers think of growth? What are their problems? So I think it's important as leaders, we have to paint the vision of what this company is going to look like a year from now, 5 years from now. What role is that person going to be in? And you got to show them that growth is good and it's going to get us all there. So you got to get them on board with where we're going, not just more work for me. All this means is more work for me. No, you got to paint a vision. This is going to make us more profitable. This is going to make more positions. This is going to open up a management spot for you. And you got to really show your team and get them on board with your company vision.
And I think you hit on a really important point, because you can have death by meetings. You can have too many meetings, too much time. To streamline what you're going to do, you have to have the least amount of time spent in meetings. And I think we found one of the best ways to do that is to apply an agile or a lean method, which is traditionally comes from the Kanban, Toyota manufacturers, and it's been adopted in software. And then applying it to managed services or the service industry has been a challenge, but it works really, really well.
So, that's some really good points here. Let's move into the next question. Is it specific targets or splatter method? What is your opinion? What I'm getting at is, in growth, are you trying to be everything to everyone, and are you going after anyone that possibly could be a client, or are you looking at more specific type of targets? Because I have an opinion on this one, what you should be doing. But I want to hear what you are doing and what you started with, or just your opinion on it. So, Brendan, we'll start with you on this one.
Yeah, so I think part of this depends on the salespeople in terms of what ends up happening. Our targets are more centered around some demographics, not necessarily industry, although we do have some industry focus. So we've been in business 10 years. So what that means is we've developed some natural saturation in certain types of businesses. And so I know our sales team knows that they can close those deals better. We've got better references. We've got, but early on, it's very much whatever comes in the door. Let's take it. But now that we've got a book of business that's good, and we've gotten good at certain sets of applications or certain technologies or certain approaches to business operations. We've got a number of operations now that run 24/7, and that's not something I would recommend any new MSP just jump into, because it's a whole nother set of challenges. But we've operationalized it enough now over time, and not without pain, so that it's something that when our salesperson says, "Hey, do you think this is a qualified candidate?" we can say, "Yeah, go for it. We've got that covered." Whether it's 24/7 or whether it's big or whether it's vertically focused, certain areas, we've got some good focus in healthcare, and we've got some good focus in, defense and areas like that, which, we sort of grew into. It didn't happen because we chased them specifically, but now we're chasing them more specifically. We don't turn them away, certainly.
Cool. So let me ask you, we're going to bring Jason on here. Jason, speak up when you have unmuted your button so I can make sure that we can hear you. One of the questions, that I had really, when you're working with your partners in Chicago or in Illinois, how does it, what is the approach to their growth? Can you help us understand that?
Yeah, Sherman, thank you. I appreciate that. Can everyone hear me?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So I just wanted to say there's sort of two kinds of growth that we're looking at. Some, and I saw somebody posted here around E360 or M365, E3 and E5. One area of growth is bundling everything together, and so I've got some partners who are doing a really good job of that. But the other area is to actually just gather the tribal knowledge, like where have you worked before and with whom, and is there a pattern? And so we're finding patterns around healthcare, financial services and such. And then the big thing that I'm pressing, and I would love to see some people come back and tell me about, but it's going to be emotional with all of my partners, is a number of folks have interns, and I'm highly encouraging people to take any interns that are coming into your offices this summer and have them build your executive summary and sort of backlog of industry knowledge that you can take your tribal knowledge of the work you've done, put it with this research, and then display it on your site so that when people go to your site, they know you're great in healthcare, or they know you're great in financial services, or they know you're strong in legal. So that's my one tip, and I want to hear people's success stories on getting interns to actually do research and provide you with the background to have that industry focus. So back to you, Sherman.
Thank you. Interns, love it. Interns. That's all I got to say. It's just define it yourself. Interns. I think there's a lot of things that you can do with them. Plus, I mean, it's really great that you can give a leg up, right, to somebody. I'm always, thinking about how do I help, other people and bringing them in. And I would have a team of interns here at Microsoft if we didn't have to go through, all of the hoops and yeah, pretty much. So I can't really have one, but I would love to have one. I'd have like 10. We'd have an army, here taking over the world. We come in peace, but we do surround you. Right?
Well, it's interesting that you mention that because in a previous life, I hired a slew of interns for the summer. I hired 10 interns, and we were trying to build a social momentum on Twitter and on LinkedIn and a couple other places. And so we used interns for that, which is one, they're typically digital natives, right? So they understand the conversation. They have to be coached a little bit on what's professional versus what they're maybe used to from like college, and how to report on the party. But they're great because some of that is real tedious, right? I mean, and getting it out to the different places or participating in a conversation. Interns are great for that. I know I've used them for that. Now, I think technical interns are a little bit more challenging, and Joe, you might be able to speak to this more because. Getting them up to speed technically, or just having them shadowing someone, that's a different scenario than
absolutely.
Yeah.
So we've actually found some good partners so that we can bring in the right people that have already had some training, and by doing that, it's enabled us to really find the right people at the right time. Whereas if you take someone that's green, really fresh, to someone that's interested, you could teach them, but it takes a lot of work to do the technical side.
Yeah, we partnered with an organization in Oakland called the Stride Center. It's a nonprofit, helps people get their foot in the door in IT, so it gives them some basic training. And then from there, they have this resource pool that we can get, on an hourly basis as a contractor to come check out kind of what we do as an MSP, see if it's for them, do some work for us. So it's been a great fit for us.
I really love that. It's a bit of a trade secret. So the organization that you go to is the center, and make sure that you reach out to the center. We don't. All right, let's move on. Hey, let's roll tape on the simplify, optimize, repeat. Let's get into that section, and we got some great questions coming up for you in there. Simplify, optimize, and repeat with the titans of sales and industry. All right, so let's get into here. Simplify, optimize, repeat. I think, my first question really, and it kind of goes along with the last section really, was actually around sales versus marketing. Are you seeing more leads coming in from your direct sales folks or through marketing? And then on top of that, just so a quick answer to that one, but then I want you to give me your story behind an innovative marketing idea that you're doing. And we talked about that earlier.
Sure.
So sales, marketing, and then innovative idea.
Great. And actually the answer is neither. The number one source is referrals. Okay. So we have partnered with other business leaders that are selling business services to the companies that we want to be in. People selling outsourced accounting, people selling business insurance, people selling office furniture. Made a referral program for them to get them a little excited about introducing us, and that has been how we've been introduced to business owners, getting right to the right person. They already have a relationship. Hey, you need to talk to Jake at 1+1. He's CEO of this company. I know they're a good fit for you. Just have coffee with them. That's all I need, and then I'm in, right? On the other side, on the unique marketing approach, so we took a page out of your book. We built ourselves a little studio, nothing this nice, our humble studio, And we started making short videos, YouTube videos, giving away free content. So what's a user going to look for? What does a user want to do? I want to know how to X. We make a video that answers that, right? Now, then we started mixing in some funny videos, right? So we've made some characters, some personas of bad IT guys. We have a cheapskate IT person. We have an upsell IT person. We dress in costume and we make these goofy videos. And I'll tell you, the number of hits and views that we get on those far exceeds all the other videos. But it gets them to our YouTube, it gets them to our website, and it's been a big draw. And so we're going to run with it. And it's a lot of fun for our team as well.
I love that idea. What are the personas?
Yeah, so we have one. My favorite is the upsell guy. So he wears an afro, a 70s jacket, and a gold chain. And he talks kind of in an accent. And, you know, he says something like, hey, I know you only have 3 PCs here, but we're going to need to upgrade you with a new server. You're going to need this $30,000 XG45. Trust me. You know, and it's great. And we're calling the company that these bad IT guys work for One Star IT, because 1 out of 5 ain't bad. And we're kind of running with this, and this has been a marketing effort through Facebook, through LinkedIn, and through YouTube, and it's really taking off.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's great, and I think that's fun. We've tried. Right now we're seeing success actually in sort of traditional like hunting sales tactics, right? Like open the business journal, open the, you know, when we go to a sales meeting, walk the office park that you just came out of, like some really traditional hunting, you know, finding those opportunities. Hey, we're working down the hall. Do you have any needs, kind of thing. The other one we're finding actually, we've just feels like we finally got it dialed in, which is some, you know, Google results. Like we're really, you know, and I think for the small regional partner or regionally focused partners, I should say, and I don't know if size that's always been a tough nut to crack in terms of getting the return on investment in that marketing dollar, and we're seeing it. The biggest difference being the ones our sales team is out hunting and gathering tend to close with less friction and less process and less investment on our side than the ones that are coming in organically, because they're still not qualified specifically enough to make that sales process faster, which is what we're hoping for.
Okay, so now I'm going to disagree with this, and I'm going to give you some points. So the cost of sale, okay, the cost of sale for one-to-one, right? If you have a person out there that goes out and does a discovery, right, and then comes back, then employs the resources to figure out what they're going to be talking about, putting together a proposal, then going back, giving the proposal, you know, and then the cost of, well, how much time do we use? How much time did it cost that salesperson? How many hours, right? How many hours did the engineer come in and, you know, reconfigure this? And it could be even, and a lot of people don't realize this, it could be for a deal that's $1,000 a month, right? And what you don't realize is the total cost of sale, okay, may be really $13,000 or $14,000 for that $1,000 a month deal, because you know you're just too long in the market. And I understand where you're coming from the you know, organic side, but what that tells me is that we're missing some steps to educate buyers, and we're missing the way to funnel our potential organic leads into an area where they can self-serve and answer some questions and buy something from you that they can implement right now, try it, and then you move them up with a nurture campaign. I think the better way of doing it, now this is my opinion, of course, and not necessarily the opinion of Microsoft and Microsoft affiliates. My opinion is that creating an organic website and creating pages that are vertically marketed, vertically set, but also having 3 different packages, right? And that first package that you have isn't about you know, what you really want to sell them. The first package is a net to get 80% of the people who come to you, right? And you give them, you know, a great CRM company, a CRM company out there that is probably one of the top CRM companies. I'm not going to name names. Very interesting. Their initial offering, you can get contact management, very simple, and sales management, but you can't send any emails or send anything for the free service, right? It's all grayed out. Very similar to what you should be doing. Creating something that you're driving people, you're educating people to, right? They can try it, but then after they come in, I think it's better and more well spent. The money spent on a customer success manager, okay? A hybrid. Somebody's really good in sales, right? But also technical, so they can take those people who are coming in organically and help them push them up into that mid-range package where the margin is, okay? That's the margin. Now the total cost of sale, okay, is substantially lower, right? Because you don't have 15 touch points just to get them on board.
Right.
Okay, you don't have to spend money on 30 hours worth of work just to get them on board, right? And then how does that relate? That then reduces your business risk, right? Hiring new salespeople, right? Training, right? Training to do a sales process. Things have changed by our 2.0. People are starting to self-educate on a lot of things. So just help them and show them that you're the expert in that industry. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I mean, it does. I think it's interesting because in my mind, what you've done is basically you've helped them self-fund the nurture of that lead, right? So if you sign them for the $1,000 a month, and with the hope that there's a much bigger opportunity farther down the road, what you've done, which is it's a great idea, as you know, I was thinking as you said it, which is you've basically funded that process of selling them what you really wanted to sell them, probably to start with. And I mean, that's brilliant. And then if we have an Azure conversation, it gets even better.
Gets even better, right?
We're excited about that too, the CIE and Azure.
Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. Okay, let's see. Let's look at some of these questions. Azure pricing calculator, friend, foe, or both? How has your Azure solution helped your team with most important issues? I mean, using that question, I know that we talked about that. It kind of slipped in from last week, to be frank with you. But let's ask you guys that. When you're selling Azure, is a calculator a friend, foe, or
I think it's great. I think at first it was a little daunting or intimidating because you weren't really sure, because just pricing Azure is, I think, one of the more interesting or fun parts of it, if you like to be tortured. But for the most part, it's really good. It helps you identify what you're going to deploy, how you're going to do it. And I mean, I think it's great. And especially if you can get clients that are going to be helping you migrate, and they're going to start using it, get developers using within Azure, you can actually teach them to go, look, this is about what you're going to be paying. You can kind of go play with it there. And so it's the metered approach for that, and it works really well.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're struggling with the Azure pricing calculator, not that because the confidence in the tool is what you have to have, right? So, and we want to be able to project that to the customer. So we're kind of failing or erring more to the side of putting Cloudimize or BitTitan in place to say, hey, customer, we're going to measure what you're actually using, and that feels much more sensitive to their needs, and much more of a high-touch consultative approach, rather than saying, oh, we've plugged in our, our magic, 8-ball says it's going to cost you $1,000 a month, which it might be totally dead on, but the other part is we're still learning this process too. We haven't hit a bullseye every time, so we're hoping that with Cloudimize and BitTitan, and time will tell. We don't know. That's the other part of it. Just you don't know how well you've estimated until you've had some workload under your belt.
We also see there's really two ways that we're going to be selling Azure. Exactly. There's some people that have a simple workload. We're going to design that environment. We're going to bundle our services. We're going to come up with a fixed cost, and we're going to bundle it into our managed service.
Right.
Bill it at the front of the month, even though we could build it at the back of the month. Then there's the other way, where they're going to have people who want to go spin up their own servers. They want to do development. We're going to give them the keys to the kingdom. They're going to build out, and we're going to build them on a resource use base. And we're going to have two, and we're going to build that in arrears. So we're going to have two models, and that's kind of what we've figured out, because you can't do both. I mean, right. Some customers need one, and some customers need the other. And
right.
So Jason, I want to kind of bring you back in on this one, if you don't mind. And the question is, to maintain high growth targets, okay, you must reduce number of offerings, but increase costs to provide services. When you're dealing with your clients and your partners out of Illinois, what do you think is the consensus there?
That's a tough one, Sherman. I mean, I think what's a struggle right now is people don't want to look at any opportunity where they're going to have to give up or say no to something. But I do think, when we talk about the optimize and repeat, you really have to figure out what you're doing best. And so what I've tried to use is sort of a transition, if you will, is, I think it would be good at some point to get comfortable with saying no, because I think you will actually find some scale and focus. But in the meantime, you just try to make sure you dedicate time to those new offerings and solutions, and have that blocked out and protected. And then you really present yourself socially and on your website as being focused around these certain areas. But if somebody comes to you proactively and wants you to do business with them, then you should say yes. But I think ultimately you want to get to a point where you're confident and comfortable that these are the core areas we focus on. We're doing a heck of a business in it, and we're happy to refer the other kind of business that we've stepped away from to someone else. So you're not saying no or not taking care of someone. You're just referring them to someone who wants to do that versus what you specifically want to focus on. So it's a transition shift, but it's a hard one. No secret sauce to that.
Great. That's really great input, on that. What do you guys think? And then after this, we're going to go into our TNT back office. So, Brendan, what are your thoughts?
We always hate saying no to revenue. I mean, who doesn't hate saying no? But I think it is interesting to know what you're good at, and more importantly, know what you're not good at, and find the partners to fill those gaps. And even if the plan ultimately is for you to become good at it, I think that's the other part, right? Which is, find a trusted partner, and we were talking about this before the call. Find a trusted partner who you can trust in the way that they're not going to poach business. They only do what you need them to do, and that's it. And I think, but knowing what you should say no to is one of the biggest challenges that, especially a business focused on high growth, a small business focused on high growth, saying no to revenue. I mean, that's a hard thing to do.
Awesome. Thank you very much for that input. Jake, what are your thoughts?
No, I completely agree. The sales side of me likes to take anything we could get. And when you really look down at sometimes Joey says, "Look, we can sell hot dogs if you want," but
yep,
with the wig, that doesn't fit. So as long as it's within your realm, and the other thing I find, vet and find some good partners, and if you find opportunities that's in their wheelhouse and you walk them in, a lot of times you can negotiate. You get 10% kickback or 15%, or you get a finder's fee, and you don't have to do the work, but you still get paid.
But I also find too, because I'm on the more operational side, so I'm the conservative one that says, hey, we want to do what we know how to do, right? So I think it's, from our perspective, we need to take more risks and be willing to take on those projects that, it's the chicken or the egg. Like, you got to get the experience at some point, and you got to learn how to do it. So diving into it is a good thing. You got to, obviously measure calculated risk and make sure that you're ready to take on those when you do it. But it's, for I think a lot of more operational or engineer focused, that's a tough bridge to cross sometimes.
Well, it's interesting too, because my experience, and I'm a little bit like this too, is we hire people who love to serve people, and they're also good engineers. But the problem is, when they love to serve people, what they actually like to do is really please people. And so, in the effort to please the customer, they say yes to things, and then they'll come back to the office and go, "Hey, this is what I just told them we could do. Can we do it?" And which is different than the sales guys, going out and hunting those opportunities. But when the engineers already told the customer, "Yeah, we can figure that out," now we've got a different problem of,
right.
Okay, great. So we're either going to have a really tough conversation, or we're going to figure it out, and we're going to grow through it, and it's going to be exciting.
Right. Which, one of the things that I think some business advice was given to us by one of our clients is, they're saying, you can sometimes provide services, like, give them the perceived need, and because they have the needs, you have to understand what they need. The engineers that really want to serve the client will go above and beyond. It's great, but you could be losing margin by time spent on things that may or may not be 100% necessary.
That, I think, is some great insight here. So, all right, let's roll tape on TNT.
Hey partners, TNT coming to you live from the Island Park concrete jungle here. Finally got a nice day. It's going to be in the 40s. Threw those coats away, thinking about spring. We got some great stuff to talk about today. What are we going to be discussing?
Yeah, so we have M365 everywhere, PI funding. We have Bot of the Day workshop. Inspire sessions have rolled out, so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Windows ATP webinar and BitTitan and Skykick migrations. So we're going to see you in 2. Hey partners, so the first topic is M365 Everywhere Pi Funding Program. So this program supports proof of concepts to demonstrate the full value of Microsoft 365 and assessments to identify security gaps. The payout for the POC is either 5K or 10K depending on the forecasted revenue. It's a 3 to 5 engagement, minimum of 10 users. So really the products is M365, and the partner that are eligible for this program are ones that hold these competencies: cloud productivity, collaboration and content, management, communications, messaging, EMS, and Windows and devices. The activity is assessments or proof of concepts. If you have any more questions, please reach out to Terry or myself. The registration link to the Pi portal is found on this deck. Now on to the next topic.
The topic I'm going to touch on next is Bot in a Day workshops. They are coming up in a few months here, and I have the registration link. I know that Justin touched on this last Friday a little bit about bots, and it is something that is very helpful in your day-to-day operations, and so we wanted to put this out in front of you guys to see if there is opportunity to take advantage of some of these workshops. The Bot in a Day is a free hands-on workshop for developers or IT professionals that focus on the basics, their AI technologies, use cases, and how they're built. It's one day. The first day is consisting of overview of bots and AI in the morning, and it's followed by an afternoon of lab-style exercises where you guys will build your own bots with the help of experts. So again, we have a registration link here. There also are different locations like I touched on earlier, but the closest for several are Chicago and Irvine. Check it out. Bots are going to be a part of our lives moving forward and again in your day-to-day operations. Thanks. My topic next is Microsoft Inspire sessions. I know that Thomas has talked a few times on the Friday call in regards to Inspire registration. We also wanted to just get the session catalog out there in front of you guys so you can take a look at what sessions are offered, and if something jumps out at you that may be pertinent to your operations, we'd love to see you guys there. Thanks.
All right, so the next topic is an upcoming webinar that's going to take place on April 24th, which is a Tuesday, and it's focused on Windows Advanced Threat Protection. It's an overview and an update on the product. This is actually going to be a joint call with Microsoft and partners. Registration link is found below. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Terry or myself. Other than that, let's go on to the next topic.
Okay, last topic on the agenda today is the BitTitan and Skykick migration offers. Microsoft has partnered with BitTitan and Sidekick to provide free migration for qualifying customers to Office 365. The dates of that are between March 1st and June 30th. So we definitely want to make you aware of these opportunities. We've got the two links in here for additional details that you can sign up with BitTitan and Skykick. So any partner and all customers are eligible. So I'd encourage you to go into the links here and define the details. Thanks. Bye.
Hey partners, thanks for your time today. Really appreciate you jumping on the call here.
So partners, Henry Blackaby said that comfort is the enemy of progress. Our advice to you is in Q4, don't get comfortable. Let's crush this last quarter and just kill it. See you guys next week.
Kill it.
All right, thank you very much. That evidently, Terry and Thomas have much better weather. They are no longer snowed in. It's kind of nice to see them. Congratulations, everyone. Their response time for emails evidently has gone up significantly because their hands have completely thawed out. Before I saw this picture of them, and they had the complete ice. They had just the fingers. And I noticed recently that obviously it must have thawed out, and we have much faster response time. Great job, Terry. Great job, Thomas. All right, let's go ahead and get over to LinkedIn. If you could just go ahead and pull up that second screen there. What I wanted to do real quickly here is kind of just talk about branding, right? And kind of doing a quick little tutorial here on it. So what I did here is I just opened up LinkedIn.com, and as you can see on LinkedIn.com, you have up here on your menu bar the home, my network, inbox. No, that's inbox. Sorry. Messaging and notifications. But the first thing I want to call out here is it's about branding. So let's go ahead and click on the actual profile. And this is how, I would say that if you spend some time on here, this is how I would set it up if I were you. First, your name here, right? So my name is Sherman Crancer. I have Lion as my designation. I love it because most people don't know what it means, and they think it's some mysterious designation, that was given to me by like the, some secret society. But it really means LinkedIn Open Networker. That's all it means.
Uh-oh.
Lion. See? I
didn't know.
I was going to put tiger next to mine.
Yeah, that would have been bad.
Unicorn? Oh.
LinkedIn Open Networker, okay, contact information. So let's go ahead and quickly click on the contact info here. I'm going to show you something really important. Your names, make sure that they're correct. Okay, 2, headline. Now, most people here just put in technical strategist or whatever their CEO, right? And that's not what you really want there, because you want people to be able to understand who you are when they click on you, right? And to see, well, what do you do? So I put on there helping Microsoft partners build, profitable business practices. That's what I do. I'm here to help you kind of think differently. Yep. So you want to put that in your headline there, right? Your current position, where you went to school, and then next thing is very important is the summary, okay? And in here, Sherman Crancer is National Senior Partner Development Manager for Microsoft, is a high-energy, fiscally conscious, and goal-driven technology executive, approaches each new business challenge with his intrinsic flair for innovation, creative problem solving. So did I write that? No, I didn't. But I paid somebody to help me write that. Okay, really important. So it's much better than I could have said. I could have said that probably.
I want to meet him.
I could have said that. I could have said that probably, but when it comes to writing it, no. So let's go back over there, and then this is important. Uploading media. Okay, so look at all the media that I've uploaded. So it's different quick hits. It's big long forms, but basically it's all the stuff you're pulling in from YouTube. Really important. So now people are seeing brand. Wow, they're these on a panel show, or he's the host, or and this is something that I want to understand and take a look at. So really important on that. But let me go ahead and show you. It has a dashboard, 294 views in this past week. 687 post views just this last week. It's pretty good. It'll show you where your articles are coming from. These are the last things that you've posted. But what else I want to show you is underneath your experience. This is also really important. As you can see here, National PDM, I got to update this a little bit, right? Because there's not a whole lot in there. But what I did do is I uploaded media once again. So it has an award that I have here. It has the trailer that we have here. And then we have a blank screen because for some reason we have technical difficulties here. Hold on, let me go ahead and redo this. I think we are back up. Steve, can you see my screen?
Yeah, it's pretty bright.
No, okay. So no, we've got nothing. One moment, let me go ahead and, this is a good scenario of practice. Sometimes you run into very, very difficult situations and you're just totally calm here, okay? Inside, totally different, okay? totally different. Man, okay, shoot. So I have a tutorial that I'll post on the Point Drive here in just a few minutes after the call. But what I do want to get into is actually posting, okay? And we may not be able to show this to you because something just came up. But posting, very important. When you post something, you go to the very top of LinkedIn. So if you go to linkedin.com, you just go to the very top and it says, post something. What I want you to do is you put in a tagline that people are going to want to open. Okay, something that is 5 steps to reduce IT costs by 50%. Well, I'd be interested in looking at what that is, right? And then you take your YouTube link and you post it, automatically post it up there. And then when it says posting settings, a lot of times people just push post, but actually click down the downward chevron because that's going to allow you to say post to LinkedIn and Twitter. Okay, now this is great. Now, the next piece of advice is hashtags. Hashtags your friends, your partners, anything that you can do to tag it. If you're going to post something, hashtag me because then I can see it and then I will share it. I will share it for you. I will get it out there. I think that's a really important part of branding. But one of the things that I love the most about this is I always go to the notifications and they send you emails. People who've seen your stuff, people who've looked at it. It's great. So look, go to the Point Drive at the end of the show. Everybody should have it. Thomas or Terry, if you could just put it in the link at about 2 p.m. today. You will have all of the videos up there. You'll have everything that you can do. I have the LinkedIn branding goes through everything. I just gave you a super quick taste of it. Goes through everything. It's about 11 minutes long. It's a little long for me, but something it's really thorough. Yeah. So you'll be able to do that. Anyways, Jason, final thoughts here. I know we're coming up on end of the hour. Just want to see what if you can give us final thoughts.
I have a LinkedIn question for you.
Yes, the final thought I have for today is enjoy the nice weather and get signed up for Inspire. We really want to get people there, and now that I know Bruno Mars is there, I'm even more motivated to go.
Be Mars. All right, Jake, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I had a question about LinkedIn. Your thoughts on upgrading to premium?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. I would absolutely do it. This is part of a business cost. Absolutely do it. And then get Sales Navigator, get Point Drive. This is a business cost. This is building your brand. Last thoughts that you'd like to provide to the group?
No, I really appreciate Sherman and the show, the panel. It's been helping us develop and grow our business, and we're really excited about being Microsoft partners and growing our Azure and Office 365 business.
Great. Thanks for coming.
Absolutely.
Any last thoughts?
No, I also want to say thank you. It's been a pleasure. We really love working with the Microsoft team. You guys are great, and just the support you give us is just fantastic.
Great. Brendan?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of, if we all work together, we're going to raise the tide for all the boats in the harbor. So there's plenty of business out there for all of us. And if we can all be better, then it's good all around. And I like that.
All right. So I'm right away. I'm getting up right now, and I'm going to go walk down to the big conference room here. We have 60 partners coming in to do some Office 365 training. Look forward to seeing you guys just in a few minutes. We have the show going on. Anyways, for Microsoft, for the partners, for Illinois, for California, thank you so much. Remember, dreamers are the ones that talk about what they're going to do, and leaders are the ones that do what they talk about. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Hey there, my name is Sherman Crancer, and I'm the Senior Partner Channel Development Manager here at Microsoft and the host of The Panel, Strategies from the Titans of Sales and Industry. If you're interested in understanding how you can build large margins through packages, if you're interested in how to create differentiation within the marketplace, or simply you want to understand the latest cutting-edge sales and marketing techniques, make sure you join us each week on Fridays from 9 to 10 a.m. Thanks so much, and have a great day. Bye-bye.